sitting there amidst the chaos.
Now that's a find. A Jovian battleship. Imagine the technology that could be salvaged from a wreck like that.
Right. Valen's logs describe it as a treasure trove of advanced technology and encrypted data. He mentions fragments of weapons systems, propulsion systems, even some kind of unknown device emitting strange signals.
Hold on a second. Did you say a Jovian battleship? While it's an incredible find, we have to remember that the Jovians were far more advanced than the Sleepers.
If you've been wearing glasses...
Their technology is powerful and potentially dangerous.
You think it could still be active after all these centuries?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Remember what happened with the Sleepers? We still don't fully understand their technology, and they've been around for centuries. Who knows what kind of surprises a Jovian battleship might hold?
Okay, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But Valen's logs don't mention any active defenses. He seems more focused on the potential rewards.
Well, let's hope his enthusiasm doesn't get the better of him. The Jovians were a brilliant civilization, but their downfall was shrouded in mystery. Some speculate that their own technology played a role in their disappearance.
It's like opening a treasure chest that might be booby-trapped. The potential rewards are immense, but the risks are equally high.
Exactly. It's a balance that every W space explorer has to consider. The pursuit of knowledge and wealth can be a double-edged sword.
But knowing Valen, I bet he couldn't resist the allure of that Jovian tech. What do you think he did? Did he try to salvage the battleship?
Well, let's just say Valen has a knack for finding trouble. And this Jovian battleship might be his biggest challenge yet.
It's like he's caught between a rock and hard place, you know? Run from this corporation or delve into the mysteries of this Jovian tech. What a situation to be in.
Well, that's W space in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
The constant push and pull of risk and reward. That's what draws capsulers like Valen in. They thrive on it.
You know, he's one of those capsulers who just can't resist a challenge, isn't he?
Exactly. You know, we talk about capsuleer skills and technology, but there's also a certain mindset that comes with it. A willingness to push the boundaries, to face the unknown head on.
So what did he choose? The corporation or the battleship?
Well, according to the logs, he went for the Jovian tech. Decided to follow that strange signal emanating from the device he found. It's a gamble for sure, but one with a potentially huge payoff.
So he's chasing this signal, and you mentioned earlier that it's leading him towards a dead space pocket.
Right.
Can you tell us a bit more about those? I remember you comparing them to bubbles within the wormhole, like little pocket universes.
Yeah, they're like these isolated regions within W space, each one unique with its own set of rules and dangers. Think of it like stepping into a completely different reality.
That's both terrifying and fascinating at the same time. What do we know about what causes them?
Honestly, not a lot. They're one of the biggest mysteries in W space. Some theories suggest they're remnants of the Jovians' experiments with space-time, like scars left behind from their attempts to manipulate reality.
Wow. It's like Valen stumbled onto a secret doorway into a lost civilization. And you mentioned something about a theory on wormhole evolution. Does this tie into that at all?
It might. Some believe that dead space pockets are like these evolutionary dead ends for wormholes. Places where the fabric of space-time has become so twisted and distorted that they're cut off from the rest of the wormhole network.
That's incredible. And to think Valen could be on the verge of uncovering one of these secrets, it's almost too good to be true. But knowing the Jovians, there's probably a catch, right?
Oh, there's always a catch with the Jovians. We have to remember that their technology is far beyond anything we can comprehend. It's powerful, unpredictable, and potentially dangerous.
You're really making me nervous here. The Jovians have been gone for centuries. What are the chances that whatever's in this dead space pocket is still active?
It's hard to say, but we can't rule it out. We've seen how their sleeper drones remain operational after all this time. Who knows what else they might have left behind?
That's a good point. So what do you think Valen could find in this dead space pocket? A hidden research facility? Ancient weapons? Or something we haven't even imagined yet?
It's impossible to say for sure. But Valen's logs do mention one intriguing detail. As he got closer to the dead space pocket, the signals from the Jovian device intensified. It's like it was guiding him towards a specific location.
Oh wow, so it wasn't just a random signal, it was pointing him towards something specific. Like a treasure map leading to the heart of a lost civilization. This is getting really exciting.
Hold on a second. Don't forget about the Wormhole Corporation. They weren't just going to let Valen waltz off with his potential prize. They were still on his tail.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about them. What did they do? Did they try to stop him?
According to the logs, the corporation dispatched a small fleet to intercept Valen before he could reach the dead space pocket. It was a race against time.
He couldn't have taken them all on, could he? I mean, those corporations have some serious firepower.
You're right. A direct confrontation would have been suicidal. But Valen had another trick up his sleeve. He used his ship's speed and agility to outmaneuver the corporation's fleet, leading them on a wild chase through asteroid fields and nebula clouds.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. He was running for his life while trying to unlock the secrets of a long-lost civilization. Talk about a high-stakes adventure.
This is where Valen's piloting skills really shone. He knew how to push his ship to its limits, using every trick in the book to stay one step ahead of the corporation.
Did he make it? Did he reach the dead space pocket?
The logs end abruptly, just as Valen approaches the entrance to the dead space pocket. The corporation was closing in, but he was within reach of his goal. It's a real cliffhanger.
You're killing me. I need to know what happens next. Did he get in? What about that mysterious Jovian technology?
Patience, my friend. We have those supplemental reports to go through.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm sure they'll shed some light on what happened next.
Okay, before we get into those, let's take a moment to recap. We've followed Valen Cord on his journey into an uncharted wormhole. He battled sleeper drones, evaded a hostile corporation, and now he's on the verge of entering a dead space pocket in pursuit of some unknown Jovian secret.
His story is a perfect example of what makes W space so compelling. It's a realm of endless possibility where danger and reward go hand in hand.
It's a place that draws in those who are willing to risk it all for a chance at glory or discovery.
And Valen Cord is definitely one of those people. Now put yourself in his shoes for a moment. You're on the run from a powerful corporation. You have the chance to unlock a potentially groundbreaking secret, but the risks are immense. Would you take the gamble and enter that dead space pocket?
It's a tough one. Would I risk it all for some ancient mystery? I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you value knowledge and how much you're willing to risk to get it.
That's the spirit of exploration, isn't it? The desire to push the boundaries of the known and venture into the unknown. It's what drives people like Valen.
Well, I'm eager to find out what happened to him. Let's dive into those supplemental reports and see what we can uncover.
Agreed. I'm particularly curious to see how the corporation reacted to Valen's maneuvers. They would have given up easily.
Okay, so it looks like Valen did manage to slip past the corporation and enter the dead space pocket. But it wasn't easy. He had to really push his ship to its limits.
So the cat and mouse game continued, even as he entered the dead space pocket. Sounds like they were determined to stop him at all costs.
And the reports say as soon as he got inside, things started getting really strange. His sensors were going haywire, detecting all sorts of weird energy fluctuations and gravitational anomalies.
That's to be expected. Dead space pockets are notoriously unpredictable. The laws of physics as we know them might not even apply in there.
Yeah, it sounds pretty wild. The reports even mentioned something about spatial distortions, like the fabric of reality itself was being twisted and pulled.
It's mind-boggling to think about. The Jovians were capable of manipulating space-time in ways we can't even fathom.
So Valen's in this chaotic reality-bending environment surrounded by who knows what dangers. What happened next? Did he find what he was looking for?
Well, the reports describe a slow and cautious journey as he navigated through the dead space pocket using the Jovian device as his guide.
So the device was still working, even in that crazy environment.
Apparently so. It's like it was leading him towards a specific destination, and eventually he reached it.
What was it? What did he find?
That's where things get really interesting. The reports struggle to describe it. They use terms like transcendent, unfathomable, beyond human comprehension.
They really couldn't explain what he saw.
It seems that way. Whatever Valen encountered defied all attempts at categorization or understanding.
Wow, that's incredible. The reports don't offer any clues.
Well, they do mention something about a structure. A massive complex of unknown design pulsating with energy and emitting these strange harmonic resonances.
What do you think it was? Some kind of research facility, a gateway to another dimension.
It's anyone's guess at this point. Some speculate it might have been the very heart of the Jovians' consciousness. Whatever it was, it clearly had a profound effect on Valen.
What about the Wormhole Corporation? Did they ever catch up to him?
The reports are a bit unclear on that. It seems their ships were also affected by the strange phenomena within the dead space pocket.
Oh wow. So even they weren't immune to the weirdness.
It seems not. Some of their ships were disabled, others vanished without a trace, and the rest were forced to retreat.
So even with their advanced technology, they were no match for whatever the Jovians left behind.
It makes you wonder if the dead space pocket itself was protecting whatever lay at its heart.
It's an intriguing thought. But what about Valen? What happened to him after he encountered this incredible structure?
That's the biggest mystery of all. His logs end there. There's no explanation of what he experienced or what became of him afterwards. It's as if he vanished into the unknown, just like the civilization he was so determined to understand.
That's both disappointing and fitting in a way. Valen's story is a reminder that there are still so many mysteries out there waiting to be discovered.
His journey, though incomplete, is an inspiration to all those who seek to push the boundaries of exploration.
And it shows that even in a vast universe like New Eden, there's still room for wonder and the unknown.
Absolutely. It's what keeps us coming back for more.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of wormhole space.
It was my pleasure.
And for those of you listening, we hope you enjoyed this exploration into the mysteries of New Eden. Until next time, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is full of surprises. All right, so we're back and ready to dive in. Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going deep into wormhole space.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting stuff. And to guide us on this journey, we have with us today an expert in all things W space.
Hey, everyone.
So this deep dive focuses on a capsuleer named Valen Cord. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Valen Cord. Yeah, I know Valen.
So he's one of those lone capsuleers who likes to explore, the really dangerous regions of space. And we're going to be looking at logs and records from one of his recent adventures into a completely uncharted wormhole.
Uncharted. Oh, wow. That's pretty rare these days. Most wormholes have at least been partially explored.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's a glimpse into the truly unknown regions of New Eden. And for those who might need a refresher, wormholes, or W space as they're often called, are like these pockets of space cut off from the rest of New Eden.
Right, they're not connected to the known stargates, so the only way to get in or out is through the wormhole itself.
Exactly. It's like stumbling onto a lost island chain teeming with both beauty and danger.
Energy suppliers don't want you to know about this trick to warm up your houses for practically zero cost.
This brilliant invention was created by two British engineers from one of the largest power supply companies in the country. They were tired of seeing people paying insane heating costs during the winter and facing extremely high energy bills due to inflation. So, they decided to create a groundbreaking portable heater.
A very good analogy.
Now, according to Valen's logs, almost immediately after entering this uncharted wormhole, he had a run-in with sleeper drones.
Sleepers?
Yeah.
Wow. So right off the bat, he encounters one of the biggest mysteries in W space.
Yeah, these things are fascinating, right? They're like these ancient robotic sentinels left behind by a long-vanished civilization.
The Jovians. Yeah, the leading theory is that the sleepers are all that remains of their once vast empire.
I remember reading somewhere that their AI is incredibly advanced, capable of adapting and learning in real time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was that study published a while back about their adaptive algorithms. It's fascinating and terrifying at the same time.
Valen's logs describe the encounter as incredibly intense. It sounds like these drones were relentless, analyzing his every move and adjusting their tactics accordingly.
That makes them so dangerous. They're not just mindless machines. They're constantly evolving and learning, making them a formidable opponent for even the most seasoned capsuleer.
Well, Valen must have been on top of his game because he managed to defeat them and even salvage some valuable loot. Ancient blueprints, data cores, relics, the works.
Ah, yes, the spoils of W space. It's part of what draws capsuleers to these dangerous regions. The potential rewards can be immense.
But it seems the sleeper drones were just the first challenge Valen encountered. Shortly after that, the logs indicate that he crossed paths with the local wormhole corporation.
Oh boy, a wormhole corp. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, these corporations, they're like the rulers of their own little pocket empires within W space. They're known to be very territorial and not too fond of outsiders.
To put it mildly.
Yeah.
And here's Valen waltzing into their domain unannounced. It's like walking into a lion's den with a stake strapped to your back.
Valen's logs detail a tense standoff with this corporation. It sounds like he had to use all this cunning just to survive.
It's interesting that he decided to engage the sleepers directly. Most capsuleers I know, especially those who've read that strategy guide we discussed, prefer stealth and evasion tactics when dealing with them.
Maybe he was feeling a bit overconfident after his initial victory. Or maybe he just didn't have a choice. It sounds like the corporation caught him by surprise.
Whatever the reason, he found himself in a very precarious situation. Luckily, he was smart enough to avoid a direct confrontation with the corporation. That would have been suicide.
Right. Instead, he used his ship's cloaking device and the natural safe spots in the system to evade capture, turning the tables and making the corporation the hunted instead of the hunter.
Clever move. Valen's known for his quick thinking and adaptability in W space. It's what makes him such a successful explorer.
But even while on the run, Valen made a remarkable discovery. A derelict Jovian battleship just sitting there amidst the chaos.
Now that's a find. A Jovian battleship. Imagine the technology that could be salvaged from a wreck like that.
Right. Valen's logs describe it as a treasure trove of advanced technology and encrypted data. He mentions fragments of weapons systems, propulsion systems, even some kind of unknown device emitting strange signals.
Hold on a second. Did you say a Jovian battleship? While it's an incredible find, we have to remember that the Jovians were far more advanced than the Sleepers. Their technology is powerful and potentially dangerous.
You think it could still be active after all these centuries?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Remember what happened with the Sleepers? We still don't fully understand their technology, and they've been around for centuries. Who knows what kind of surprises a Jovian battleship might hold?
Okay, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But Valen's logs don't mention any active defenses. He seems more focused on the potential rewards.
Well, let's hope his enthusiasm doesn't get the better of him. The Jovians were a brilliant civilization, but their downfall was shrouded in mystery. Some speculate that their own technology played a role in their disappearance.
It's like opening a treasure chest that might be booby-trapped. The potential rewards are immense, but the risks are equally high.
Exactly. It's a balance that every W space explorer has to consider. The pursuit of knowledge and wealth can be a double-edged sword.
But knowing Valen, I bet he couldn't resist the allure of that Jovian tech.
E-commerce isn't just about products. It's about creating a great online experience that keep your customers coming back. But today, shoppers demand instant.
What do you think he did? Did he try to salvage the battleship?
Well, let's just say Valen has a knack for finding trouble. And this Jovian battleship might be his biggest challenge yet.
It's like he's caught between a rock and hard place, you know? Run from this corporation or delve into the mysteries of this Jovian tech. What a situation to be in.
Well, that's W space in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah.
The constant push and pull of risk and reward. That's what draws capsulers like Valen in. They thrive on it.
You know, he's one of those capsulers who just can't resist a challenge, isn't he?
Exactly. You know, we talk about capsuleer skills and technology, but there's also a certain mindset that comes with it. A willingness to push the boundaries, to face the unknown head on.
So what did he choose? The corporation or the battleship?
Well, according to the logs, he went for the Jovian tech. Decided to follow that strange signal emanating from the device he found. It's a gamble for sure, but one with a potentially huge payoff.
So he's chasing the signal, and you mentioned earlier that it's leading him towards a dead space pocket.
Right.
Can you tell us a bit more about those? I remember you comparing them to bubbles within the wormhole, like little pocket universes.
Yeah, they're like these isolated regions within W space, each one unique with its own set of rules and dangers. Think of it like stepping into a completely different reality.
That's both terrifying and fascinating at the same time. What do we know about what causes them?
Honestly, not a lot. They're one of the biggest mysteries in W space. Some theories suggest they're remnants of the Jovians' experiments with space-time, like scars left behind from their attempts to manipulate reality.
Wow. It's like Valen stumbled onto a secret doorway into a lost civilization. And you mentioned something about a theory on wormhole evolution. Does this tie into that at all?
It might. Some believe that dead space pockets are like these evolutionary dead ends for wormholes. Places where the fabric of space-time has become so twisted and distorted that they're cut off from the rest of the wormhole network.
That's incredible. And to think Valen could be on the verge of uncovering one of these secrets, it's almost too good to be true. But knowing the Jovians, there's probably a catch, right?
Oh, there's always a catch with the Jovians. We have to remember that their technology is far beyond anything we can comprehend. It's powerful, unpredictable, and potentially dangerous.
You're really making me nervous here. The Jovians have been gone for centuries. What are the chances that whatever's in this dead space pocket is still active?
It's hard to say, but we can't rule it out. We've seen how their sleeper drones remain operational after all this time. Who knows what else they might have left behind?
That's a good point. So what do you think Valen could find in this dead space pocket? A hidden research facility? Ancient weapons? Or something we haven't even imagined yet?
It's impossible to say for sure. But Valen's logs do mention one intriguing detail. As he got closer to the dead space pocket, the signals from the Jovian device intensified. It's like it was guiding him towards a specific location.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't just a random signal. It was pointing him towards something specific, like a treasure map leading to the heart of a lost civilization. This is getting really exciting.
Hold on a second. Don't forget about the Wormhole Corporation. They weren't just going to let Valen waltz off with his potential prize. They were still on his tail.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about them. What did they do? Did they try to stop him?
According to the logs, the corporation dispatched a small fleet to intercept Valen before he could reach the dead space pocket. It was a race against time.
He couldn't have taken them all on, could he? I mean, those corporations have some serious firepower.
You're right. A direct confrontation would have been suicidal. But Valen had another trick up his sleeve. He used his ship's speed and agility to outmaneuver the corporation's fleet, leading them on a wild chase through asteroid fields and nebula clouds.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. He was running for his life while trying to unlock the secrets of a long-lost civilization. Talk about a high-stakes adventure.
This is where Valen's piloting skills really shone. He knew how to push his ship to its limits, using every trick in the book to stay one step ahead of the corporation.
Did he make it? Did he reach the dead space pocket?
The logs end abruptly, just as Valen approaches the entrance to the dead space pocket. The corporation was closing in, but he was within reach of his goal. It's a real cliffhanger.
You're killing me. I need to know what happens next. Did he get in? What about that mysterious Jovian technology?
Patience, my friend. We have those supplemental reports to go through.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm sure they'll shed some light on what happened next.
Okay, before we get into those, let's take a moment to recap. We've followed Valen Cord on his journey into an uncharted wormhole. He battled sleeper drones, evaded a hostile corporation, and now he's on the verge of entering a dead space pocket in pursuit of some unknown Jovian secret.
His story is a perfect example of what makes W Space so compelling. It's a realm of endless possibility where danger and reward go hand in hand.
It's a place that draws in those who are willing to risk it all for a chance at glory or discovery.
And Valen Cord is definitely one of those people. Now put yourself in his shoes for a moment. You're on the run from a powerful corporation. You have the chance to unlock a potentially groundbreaking secret, but the risks are immense. Would you take the gamble and enter that dead space pocket?
Need seasoning. Woo! Done.
Wow.
Le banger avec le bean.
Thanks, chef.
Oh, juicy tomato.
From expert cookware to stylish kitchen tech, there's more
Voila.
to Argos.
It's a tough one. Would I risk it all for some ancient mystery? I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you value knowledge and how much you're willing to risk to get it.
That's the spirit of exploration, isn't it? The desire to push the boundaries of the known and venture into the unknown. It's what drives people like Valen.
Well, I'm eager to find out what happened to him. Let's dive into those supplemental reports and see what we can uncover.
Agreed. I'm particularly curious to see how the corporation reacted to Valen's maneuvers. They would have given up easily.
Okay, so it looks like Valen did manage to slip past the corporation and enter the dead space pocket. But it wasn't easy. He had to really push his ship to its limits.
So the cat and mouse game continued, even as he entered the dead space pocket. Sounds like they were determined to stop him at all costs.
And the reports say as soon as he got inside, things started getting really strange. His sensors were going haywire, detecting all sorts of weird energy fluctuations and gravitational anomalies.
That's to be expected. Dead space pockets are notoriously unpredictable. The laws of physics as we know them might not even apply in there.
Yeah, it sounds pretty wild. The reports even mentioned something about spatial distortions, like the fabric of reality itself was being twisted and pulled.
It's mind-boggling to think about. The Jovians were capable of manipulating space-time in ways we can't even fathom.
So Valen's in this chaotic reality-bending environment surrounded by who knows what dangers. What happened next? Did he find what he was looking for?
Well, the reports describe a slow and cautious journey as he navigated through the dead space pocket using the Jovian device as his guide.
So the device was still working, even in that crazy environment.
Apparently so. It's like it was leading him towards a specific destination, and eventually he reached it.
What was it? What did he find?
That's where things get really interesting. The reports struggle to describe it. They use terms like transcendent, unfathomable, beyond human comprehension.
They really couldn't explain what he saw.
It seems that way. Whatever Valen encountered defied all attempts at categorization or understanding.
Wow, that's incredible. The reports don't offer any clues.
Well, they do mention something about a structure, a massive complex of unknown design pulsating with energy and emitting these strange harmonic resonances.
What do you think it was? Some kind of research facility, a gateway to another dimension.
It's anyone's guess at this point. Some speculate it might have been the very heart of the Jovian's consciousness. Whatever it was, it clearly had a profound effect on Valen.
What about the Wormhole Corporation? Did they ever catch up to him?
The reports are a bit unclear on that. It seems their ships were also affected by the strange phenomena within the dead space pocket.
Oh wow. So even they weren't immune to the weirdness.
It seems not. Some of their ships were disabled, others vanished without a trace, and the rest were forced to retreat.
So even with their advanced technology, they were no match for whatever the Jovians left behind.
It makes you wonder if the dead space pocket itself was protecting whatever lay at its heart.
It's an intriguing thought. But what about Valen? What happened to him after he encountered this incredible structure?
That's the biggest mystery of all.
Uh.
His logs end there. There's no explanation of what he experienced or what became of him afterwards. It's as if he vanished into the unknown, just like the civilization he was so determined to understand.
That's both disappointing and fitting in a way. Valen's story is a reminder that there are still so many mysteries out there waiting to be discovered.
His journey, though incomplete, is an inspiration to all those who seek to push the boundaries of exploration.
And it shows that even in a vast universe like New Eden, there's still room for wonder and the unknown.
Absolutely. It's what keeps us coming back for more.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of wormhole space.
It was my pleasure.
And for those of you listening, we hope you enjoyed this exploration into the mysteries of New Eden. Until next time, keep exploring and remember the universe is full of surprises.
Is your shareholding disclosure fit and ready? Or have you hit a plateau? And are you ready to take it to the next level? Are you ready to be a leader? Legislation needs unpicking. The targets are always changing, the bar gets even higher, and you need to be on top of your fitness regime. Events are unpredictable. Every day, the players change, the course alters, but you have to stay on side, which can get messy. Aggregation needs flexibility. How many ways can you cut your data, bend and shape it? We'll keep you agile and up to the task. Data is the fuel. You are what you eat. Put in the wrong ingredients, and you'll end up with a body of work that just doesn't make the grade. Regional asks vary. Different roles for different places, home and away. You need to be alert to every playing field. Compliance is a marathon, one that we've been running for more than a decade. Conduct knows the regime inside out. We've walked the walk and we're right here beside you all the way. There's also a super fit community running alongside us too, and we come in all shapes and sizes.
All right, listeners, strap in because today we're going deep into space opera territory with the Lone Capsular. And this chapter we're looking at today really kicks things up a notch.
You know, it's really interesting how this chapter blends futuristic tech with these hints of ancient history. Like, it's not just about laser beams and spaceships. There's a real mystery here, something deeper.
For sure. And we're introduced to our main players, Valen Cord and Ileana Soren. They're space explorers who find something truly incredible at this ancient spaceship. I'm talking older than any known empire ancient.
Yeah, and it's not just how old it is. The ship's built with materials no one's ever seen before, at least not in New Eden, which is where they are. It's like someone had technology way ahead of its time.
Right, imagine finding a ship that old. I mean, it's got markings that suggest a connection to Earth. And in this universe, Earth is practically a myth. So where did it come from? What happened to Earth?
But that's the big question, isn't it? It's like the novel's asking about our origins, where we come from, our place in the universe. Are these humans descended from Earthlings? Was there some forgotten exodus?
So many questions. And then Valen and Eliana head to this planet called Proximus Minor. It's mentioned in the ship's databanks. Sounds like a haven for wanderers and lost knowledge. Kind of like a rough around the edges spaceport. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, Proximus Minor isn't on most navigation charts. It's like they're hiding it on purpose. So what are they protecting? Or maybe what are they hiding?
Ooh, good point. And the planet itself sounds pretty intense. Harsh, desolate, built from scraps of old spaceships. You can practically feel the tension.
Yeah, the settlement seems to reflect that whole hidden knowledge vibes. Like they chose to be on the fringes, cut off from everything for a reason.
Okay, and then we meet Solarian. And wow, talk about an entrance. This being is neither human nor Jovian. I mean, shimmering, skin-glowing eyes.
Solarian is a total enigma. Represents the unknown, beings and civilizations beyond what we could even imagine.
Right, Solarian is like this keeper of knowledge on Proximus Minor, and they confirm the ancient ship is linked to trying to reconnect with Earth. What a revelation.
Talk about a bombshell, right? Reconnecting with Earth. It's like this primal desire, to understand our origins. It adds this whole emotional layer to the story.
Absolutely. And then Solarian mentions these breadcrumbs clues left behind by these ancient explorers, and one of them is a key. It's supposed to unlock the coordinates hidden within the ship's core, but finding this key, it's not going to be easy.
These breadcrumbs and the key. It's like a classic treasure hunt, but with huge stakes.
Yeah.
We're taking potentially universe-altering knowledge here. Imagine the power.
No kidding. So the key is hidden in this ancient observatory perched on a volcano. It's crumbling full of toxic fumes. You just know things are going to get messy.
It's like the perfect metaphor, right? You want this knowledge. You got to risk it all. It's a reminder that the past can be just as dangerous as the future.
And speaking of danger, enter Dark Bliss, the story's antagonist. This guy wants the ship, the artifact, and he will stop at nothing to get them.
Dark Bliss is interesting because he represents this cynical use of the past. He wants to control it, weaponize it for his own gain.
Yeah, he's like a space pirate with a history degree. And get this, he has his own custom battleship called the Eclipse Fury. So yeah, he means business. A huge battle breaks out, laser blasts everywhere. Valen and Eliana barely escape with their lives.
It's a real turning point. You see, Dark Bliss is a genuine threat to our heroes and their mission. It makes you wonder, what's his end game? Why is he so obsessed with this ancient tech?
Right, it's more than just wanting a cool ship. So Valen and Eliana, they flee the observatory, they go through these underground tunnels with Solarian as their guide. But are they really helping? Or do they have their own agenda?
Solarian's motives are definitely suspicious. I mean, they know so much about the ship and the breadcrumbs. But are they truly allies, or are Valen and Eliana being played?
Solarian's like a walking, talking mystery wrapped in shimmering skin. And the chapter ends with this final showdown between Valen and Dark Bliss. She uses some clever tricks decoys to escape in her ship, the Oblivion's Edge. But Dark Bliss, he vows to hunt them down. Talk about a cliffhanger.
That vow of revenge, it tells us this fight for the artifact, it's far from over. It leaves you wanting more. You're invested in these characters now. You need to know what happens next. And this conflict, it could have implications for the entire universe. This chapter is just so captivating. The way it mixes this high-stakes action with a sense of wonder. I mean, Valen and Eliana, they're not just running from danger, they're driven by this thirst for knowledge, this need to uncover the secrets of the past.
Yeah, and those breadcrumbs Solarian mentioned, what do you think they are? Where do you think they lead?
Well, given what we know, I don't think they're just objects. They could be information lost tech, even coordinates to forgotten worlds. I mean, this civilization was advanced enough to build a ship that predates everything Valen and Eliana know about.
So these breadcrumbs could unlock some seriously advanced tech.
Exactly. And remember, Solarian said those ancient explorers were trying to reconnect with Earth. Maybe these breadcrumbs lead back to our solar system. Think about that, listener.
Wow, that's a lot to process. We're talking about a total paradigm shift here. Rewriting history as they know it. And then there's Dark Bliss. He wants that artifact for a reason, and it can't be good.
Dark Bliss, he's got this ambition right. He's not just some power-hungry villain. He wants to control the past, use it for his own gain.
He's like a space pirate with a PhD in archaeology. But you know, this story isn't just about the action and danger, it's about the mysteries that drive our heroes. What secrets does the ship hold? What's the artifact really about? Will Valen and Eliana stay one step ahead of Dark Bliss?
It's a balancing act. You know, the author gives us these intense moments, but then there are these deeper questions about knowledge power, the choices we make when facing the unknown. And that cliffhanger, it just leaves you wanting more.
Totally. It's like the author saying, hey, come along for the ride, the adventure's just beginning. But before we get too caught up in the plot, let's talk about the world building. The authors created this universe that feels huge and complex, full of interesting characters and cultures.
Yeah, and it's not just describing cool places and tech. It's a universe with history. You know, it feels lived in, believable. Even the name Jovian, it hints at a whole backstory. What happened to this empire? What role did they play? The author's giving us clues, inviting us to imagine.
It's like we're seeing a tiny piece of a giant tapestry, and each thread represents a different part of this complex universe.
And the characters are so well developed. Valen, the skilled pilot who can think on her feet. Eliana, the brilliant scientist who craves knowledge. And then there's Solarian, the mysterious one, whose motives are still a mystery.
Each character has their own reasons for doing what they do, their own desires and fears. They're not just simple characters. They're complex people caught in this huge story, and that makes them relatable, even though they're in a galaxy far, far away.
Right, and there are these themes running through it. Exploration, discovery, the pursuit of knowledge. This chapter reminds us there's always more to learn, something new to find, and sometimes those discoveries can change everything we thought we knew about ourselves and our place in the universe.
Those are some pretty deep ideas for a space opera, but the author doesn't shove them in your face, it just flows naturally.
Exactly. It's that blend of action-adventure and these bigger ideas that makes it so compelling.
So listener, what do you think? Are you hooked yet? Because we're just getting warmed up. This deep dive's about to go supernova.
I'm really curious about that potential Earth connection. What if that ancient civilization wasn't just from Earth, but was trying to send us a message, a warning, maybe even a plea for help?
Now that's a chilling thought. So many unanswered questions, but something tells me the answers are going to be mind-blowing.
And there's Solarian. Are they really helping Valen and Eliana, or are they using them for their own ends? Author leaves that hanging. It adds to the suspense.
Solarian is a wild card, that's for sure. We know they have valuable knowledge, but their motives are a complete mystery. But hey, keep your friends close and your enigmatic alien guides even closer, right?
Exactly. And what about those breadcrumbs? What other secrets are they hiding? Could they lead to tech beyond anything we can imagine? Maybe even to the lost history of Earth?
It's almost too much to think about. And in the meantime, Valen and Eliana are going deeper into the unknown with Dark Bliss on their tail. It's a race against time, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
That cliffhanger leaves us with more questions than answers. But that's what keeps a good story going, right? Keeps you engaged, keeps you thinking, keeps you coming back for more.
It's like the author is saying, hey, come on this journey with us. Let's discover things together. And you know what? I think it's an invitation worth accepting.
I agree. This chapter is just the beginning. This story with its rich world, complex characters, and those mysteries, I think it's going to be one for the ages.
So what are you waiting for, listener? Grab a copy of The Lone Capsuleer and join us on this epic adventure. You won't regret it.
And in the meantime, tell us what you think. What are those breadcrumbs? What's Solarian's real game? Will Valen and Eliana make it out alive? We want to hear your theories.
Hit us up on social media and let's talk, because the best stories are the ones that get people talking, you know?
The ones that make us ask questions, explore possibilities.
And the ones that make us look at the world differently with a sense of wonder and possibility. So let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. We have this ancient ship, maybe from Earth, a mysterious figure who wants its secrets, and our heroes stuck in the middle trying to figure it all out. It's a classic space opera setup, but there's something deeper going on here, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the author is blending science fiction with mythology. You know, that idea of the breadcrumbs leading back to Earth, to humanity's origin. It adds this whole other layer. It's not just a chase anymore, it's a quest. It's about finding meaning in this vast universe.
It makes you wonder, what would it mean for Valen and Eliana to rediscover Earth? I mean, their society is so advanced, so far removed from our humble beginnings. Would they see it as something to be proud of, or a reminder of a past they've forgotten?
It's a great question, right? Imagine the culture clash. What would they think? A lost paradise? A primitive relic? And how would it change how they see themselves, their own history?
It's mind-boggling, but we can't forget about Dark Bliss. He's still out there and he's not giving up.
Dark Bliss is this constant threat, a reminder that even in a universe full of wonder, there's always someone who wants to exploit it for power. He wants to control the past. Yeah. Use it to shape the future the way he wants.
Yeah, he's the opposite of Valen and Eliana. They just want to learn and understand the universe.
Absolutely. They represent exploration and discovery. He's all about exploitation and control. It's this battle not just for the artifact, but for what this ancient technology represents.
And then there's Solarian. We still don't know whose side they're on. Are they a true ally, or are they playing some deeper game, using Valen and Eliana for their own mysterious purposes?
Solarian is such an enigma.
Right.
They know so much, but their motives are hidden. It makes you wonder, are they leading our heroes to the truth or to a trap?
They're like a living embodiment of the mysteries Valen and Eliana are trying to solve. But speaking of mysteries, what about Earth? If that ship really is from our planet, what does that tell us about our own history?
That's the most exciting question this chapter raises. It makes us rethink everything we thought we knew about human history. Could we have been more advanced than we thought? Are there lost chapters in our past? Technologies and civilizations we've forgotten?
It's incredible to think about. What will Valen and Eliana find if they do make it back to Earth? A lost paradise, a warning, or something even more amazing?
It's wide open. The possibilities are endless. It could change everything in this universe. Rewrite history, challenge everything they believe, and who knows what kind of technology they might find.
So listener, what does all of this mean for you? It means buckle up. We're in for a wild ride. The Lone Capsuleer is more than just spaceships and laser beams. It's a story about exploration, about discovery, about how the past shapes the future. It reminds us that there's always something new to learn, and that searching for knowledge can take us to unexpected places.
This chapter is just a taste of what's to come. And the way the author builds this world, the complex characters, the thought-provoking themes, I think this story is going to stay with us long after we finish it. It makes us question our assumptions, embrace the unknown, and consider all the possibilities out there.
If you haven't already, go grab a copy of The Lone Capsuleer and join Valen and Eliana on this amazing journey. You won't be disappointed. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never lose that sense of wonder.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into something pretty interesting, I think. It's a story about a lone capsuleer in EveOnline. And we're going to see if he can actually hack it out there in the vast expanse of New Eden all by himself.
Oh, definitely going to be fascinating, I think. We've got the first 9 chapters of The Lone Capsuleer to work with here, the Omnibus Edition, and we're going to see what we can learn about Valen Cord, and he's our Lone Capsuleer in this case. So,
yeah, Valen's an interesting character because he lives in this world that's all about alliances, right?
Yeah.
Corporations, capsuleers working together. And yet, he's chosen this path of solitude. He's got incredible skills and commands a fleet of powerful ships. He's amassed a fortune. But all that has come at a cost, right? The cost of being alone, constantly on guard, and never knowing who to trust. It's had to weigh on you after a while, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a key part of his character, you know, this constant paranoia and mistrust. It shapes all of his decisions and makes you wonder, what could push someone to that extreme? The book hints at a betrayal in his past, something that really shattered his faith in others. So instead of joining a corp or relying on anyone, he takes on these dangerous missions alone, venturing into Nullsec, which is basically the Wild West of space.
You know, I don't know much about Nullsec, but I know it's lawless.
Right.
No Concord, no safety net. Anyone can attack you at any time. So why would anyone go there?
Well, it's all about risk and reward, right? Nullsec is packed with valuable resources. There are asteroid belts filled with ore and ice, hidden relic sites that can lead to incredible wealth. But it's also crawling with pirates, rival capsuleers, and these incredibly ancient and powerful AI known as sleepers.
So it's like venturing into the unknown, armed to the teeth and hoping for the best.
Exactly. You got to be prepared for anything in Nullsec Valen. Valen faces sleeper drones, navigates asteroid fields, and even encounters these massive player-built structures called keep stars, which are basically giant space stations controlled by powerful alliances.
Okay, so it's not just about piloting skills. You need to understand the political landscape too.
Absolutely. One wrong move can lead to devastating losses, even for someone as skilled as Valen. And that's what makes his choice of solitude so fascinating.
Right. In a world where information and alliances are key to survival, he's deliberately cut himself off. It's like he's testing himself, pushing his limits to see how far he can go alone.
It's like a self-imposed exile.
Yeah, kind of. Like he's trying to prove something, maybe to himself, maybe to the people who betrayed him. But there's a turning point in the story when he rescues a stranded pilot named Ileana Soren.
Oh, right. Wait, so he rescues someone. That seems kind of out of character for a lone wolf like him.
Right, it's a moment of compassion, almost unexpected for someone so focused on self-preservation. It reveals a crack in his armor, I think. A glimmer of humanity beneath that hardened exterior. So is he just being kind? Or is there a strategic element to it? Maybe he recognizes the value of an ally, even a temporary one.
I think it's a bit of both. Honestly, Valen's motivations are complex and layered. This rescue could be a subconscious desire to break free from his isolation, even if he doesn't fully realize it himself.
Interesting. So where do they go from there?
Their journey takes them through wormholes, these unstable passages to uncharted regions of space. Imagine stepping through a portal and ending up in a completely different part of the galaxy. A region where the known laws of physics don't quite apply. That's wormhole space, or W space, as it's known in EVE.
W space. I've heard stories about it, full of these crazy wormhole corporations.
Right.
And even more sleeper drones.
Exactly. It's a wild and unpredictable place, and it's where they stumble upon the wreckage of a Jovian battleship. Now, the Jovians, for those who don't know, are this ancient and incredibly advanced race shrouded in mystery. Think of them as the ultimate enigma, technologically superior to everyone else, but completely reclusive, almost mythical.
So like the El Dorado of EVE. Everyone's heard of them, but no one really knows anything about them.
Precisely. Their technology is highly sought after, and their presence always signals a significant shift in the narrative. And in this case, the discovery of this Jovian battleship changes everything for Valen. He recovers some of their tech, which draws the attention of another capsuleer, the story's antagonist, a ruthless character named Dark Bliss.
Ah, so that's where the conflict starts.
Exactly. Dark Bliss leads a powerful group called the Thunderdogs, and his pursuit of Valen adds this whole other layer of tension to the story. He seems to have vast resources at his disposal and a relentless determination to claim the Jovian technology for himself.
Okay, so we've got a lone wolf, a mysterious relic, and a ruthless antagonist. It's starting to sound like a classic space opera.
It definitely has those elements. The dynamic between Valen and Dark Bliss is fascinating. It's a clash of personalities, of philosophies. Valen, the lone wolf, driven by self-reliance and a thirst for knowledge. Dark Bliss, the ambitious leader willing to use any means necessary to achieve his goals. Their conflict is as much a battle of wills as it is a struggle for survival.
And it all revolves around this Jovian tech.
Exactly. It's the catalyst for the entire story. It represents power knowledge and perhaps even a way to break the cycle of violence and betrayal that defines New Eden.
Wow, so the stakes are pretty high then.
Absolutely. The fate of empires could hang in the balance, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in the early chapters of this story. There's a lot more to uncover, a lot more twists and turns to come.
Okay, so let's get back to Valen and Ileana. They're being hunted by Dark Bliss. What do they do?
To escape Dark Bliss, Valen and Ileana use a filament. It's basically a device that teleports ships across vast distances. Imagine being able to jump from one star system to another in an instant. That's what filaments allow capsuleers to do. They end up in a region called Fountain, which is controlled by a powerful alliance.
So they're still in dangerous territory.
Oh, absolutely. They're trying to stay undetected, but Valen spots a valuable opportunity, a faction spawn. These are rare encounters with powerful NPC pirates. They're incredibly dangerous, but offer lucrative rewards if you can survive.
So it's another risk versus reward scenario.
Exactly. It's a classic test of Valen's mentality. He's already being hunted, yet he can't resist the allure of a potentially valuable prize. It speaks to his confidence in his skills, his willingness to push his limits, and perhaps touch of recklessness.
So he takes it on.
He does, and he manages to take down the faction spawn. But just as he's looting the wreckage, he gets scanned down by none other than Dark Bliss and his crew. Talk about bad luck.
Wow, that's some terrible timing.
The tension in that scene is palpable. You can practically feel the walls closing in on them. Their escape is daring, a testament to Valen's quick thinking and piloting skills. But the encounter makes it clear that Dark Bliss is not going to let this go. He's become a looming threat, promising to hunt them down wherever they go.
So they're back to square one.
Pretty much. They find themselves back in Fountain, just a few jumps from Dark Bliss's home system. Their filaments are gone, so their choices are to run the gauntlet through stargates, hoping to avoid enemy patrols, or find a wormhole to escape.
Okay, so stargates are predictable, which makes them easy to camp. But wormholes are inherently unstable, leading to unknown and potentially hostile territory. It's a classic dilemma. Right. Fight or flight. Each choice carrying potentially fatal consequences. What would you do?
It's a tough call, isn't it? Each option presents its own set of risks. Running through stargates is like trying to outrun a predator in a straight line. You might be faster, but they know where you're going. Wormholes, on the other hand, are like stepping into the unknown. You might find safety, or you might stumble into an even greater danger.
So what do?
They choose a bit of both. They take on a vagabond in a one-on-one fight, showcasing Valen's piloting skills even as his resources dwindle. But they eventually find a wormhole, hoping it'll lead them to safer territory.
Does it?
That's where things take a dramatic turn. Instead of returning to known space, they end up in Jovian space, a region so mysterious and dangerous that even the most experienced capsuleers fear to tread. Remember we talked about the Jovians being this technologically advanced and reclusive race? Well, now Valen and Aliana are right on their doorstep.
Okay. Now that's a game changer.
It raises the stakes considerably. We've gone from a personal vendetta to a situation that could have galaxy-wide implications. Remember that Jovian tech Valen salvaged earlier? Well, it turns out to be even more significant than they initially realized. It might hold the key to understanding the Jovians' disappearance and perhaps even harnessing their advanced technology.
This is getting really interesting. So what happens in Jovian space?
They managed to salvage a Jovian battleship, acquiring incredibly valuable technology, but they also attract the attention of the Jovians themselves. They're forced to escape using another filament, but end up right back in Fountain, practically on Dark Bliss's doorstep. Talk about bad luck.
It seems like they can't catch a break.
It seems fate, or perhaps the relic itself, has other plans for them. They're trapped, hunted by the Thunderdogs with limited options for escape. This sets the stage for a tense and dramatic showdown, and that brings us to Chapter 7. The capacitor is empty, where things get really intense.
The capacitor is empty. Okay, that sounds ominous. What happens?
They're cornered in the dead-end system. Valen's ship is crippled, and Dark Bliss's fleet is closing in.
Oh no.
You see, in EveOnline, every ship has a capacitor, which is essentially its energy reserve. It powers weapon shields and other systems. When the capacitor is empty, you're vulnerable.
So they're defenseless.
Pretty much. It's a brilliant title for this chapter because it perfectly captures the sense of desperation Valen and Aliana are feeling. They're out of options, out of energy, and facing imminent capture.
This doesn't sound good. But Valen always seems to find a way out, right?
He does. He uses an ECM burst, which disrupts enemy targeting systems to buy himself a few precious seconds. Then he deploys a decoy, sending the Thunderdogs on a wild goose chase, while he and Aliana make their escape.
That's thinking on his feet. That's pretty impressive.
It's a testament to his quick thinking and tactical brilliance. He utilizes his knowledge of technology and the game's mechanics to outwit his pursuers. Is also where we see Aliana stepping up her role, evolving from damsel in distress to a capable partner.
They make a good team, then.
They're starting to. They make it back to Empire space, which is basically the safer, more civilized regions of New Eden. But Valen, driven by curiosity and perhaps a sense of unfinished business, decides to return to Jovian space. He wants to understand the relic he's acquired to uncover the secrets it holds.
So he's not giving up on the Jovian mystery.
Not at all. It's a classic hero's journey, wouldn't you say? He's faced with danger, tempted by wealth, but ultimately drawn towards something greater, something he doesn't fully understand. And Liliana, despite her initial reluctance, chooses to follow him. This speaks volumes about the trust that's developed between them. She's no longer just along for the ride. She's an active participant in this quest, sharing the risks and the potential rewards.
So they go back to Jovian space. What happens there?
They navigate a maze of wormholes and dangerous encounters, eventually reaching a Jovian archive, an ancient structure that responds to the relic Valen carries. But just as they gain access, they're discovered by Dark Bliss, who's tracked them across vast distances.
He's relentless.
Absolutely. It raises an important question. How much of this is chance, and how much is orchestrated by forces beyond their comprehension? Is the relic guiding Valen, or is he being manipulated? Is this all part of some grand design?
Those are some good questions. I don't know if we have the answers yet.
Maybe not, but the story's giving us clues. They fight off Jovian defenses, only to discover that Dark Bliss has called in his elite corporation, the Thunderdogs, led by a pilot named Winky Kinky.
So now it's a full-on corporate assault.
It's an escalation of the conflict from a personal vendetta to a full-on corporate assault. The stakes are rising rapidly. Valen and Eliana are now facing an organized force known for its brutality and efficiency. It's a classic David and Goliath scenario, with our protagonist outmatched in terms of resources but holding a unique advantage: the Jovian relic and its unknown powers.
Okay, so what happens? Do they manage to fight their way out?
Just when all hope seems lost, the relic activates. Remember, this relic seems to have a connection to the Jovians, to their technology, to this entire region of space. And as it activates, something incredible happens. New wormholes open, shimmering gateways that lead even deeper into Jovian inner space. It's as if the relic itself is responding to their plight, offering them a way out.
Wow, talk about a last-minute save.
It's a brilliant narrative choice, isolating them further, emphasizing their reliance on each other and the mysterious relic. This is where we leave Vaylin and Eliana at the end of Part 1, stranded in uncharted territory, pursued by the Thunderdogs with the relic as their only guide. Dark Bliss has given Vaylin an ultimatum: surrender the Jovian artifacts or face the full might of his corporation.
So that's the setup. We've got a lone wolf capsuleer, a mysterious relic, a ruthless antagonist, and a journey into the most dangerous and enigmatic region of space in the EVE universe. What happens next?
Well, for that, you'll have to join us for Part 2 of our deep dive into the lone capsuleer. Last time, we left Vaylin and Eliana Wright, jumping into a wormhole, heading deeper into Jovian inner space with the Thunderdogs on their tail. It's a pretty desperate situation.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too good for them. Hey, maybe the relic will save them again. It seems to have a knack for showing up at the right moment.
It's true. The relic has been a guiding force throughout their journey, but this time they're venturing into truly uncharted territory. Jovian inner space is a place where the known laws of physics seem to break down. Even the most experienced capsuleers avoid it. So who knows what they'll encounter there.
Well, the book describes their surroundings as incredibly strange and beautiful, crystalline asteroids, nebulae with these vibrant colors, and these weird gravitational anomalies that mess with their ship's systems. It sounds almost surreal.
It's like they've crossed into a different dimension, a place where the Jovians' technology has merged with the very fabric of space-time. But amidst all this beauty, there's an underlying tension, a sense that they're being watched, tested.
Yeah, I bet Vaylin's paranoia is going through the roof right now. Remember how uncomfortable he was back in Jita, surrounded by all those people? Imagine how he feels now, alone in this strange and potentially hostile environment with a ruthless enemy on his tail.
It's gotta be messing with him. But at the same time, I think there's a part of him that thrives on this, you know? Pushing boundaries, testing limits. He's like an explorer venturing into the unknown, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a need to prove himself.
And Eliana, how's she handling all of this?
She's grown a lot since we first met her. Remember, she was a stranded pilot Vaylin rescued. Now, she's a vital part of their survival, providing tactical support and piloting skills. Their bond has been forged in the crucible of danger, and it's become something deeper. A true partnership.
I like that their relationship has evolved alongside the story. So where does this journey into Jovian inner space lead them?
To a massive Jovian station described as an archive, a repository of knowledge and technology. Imagine a library containing the accumulated wisdom of an entire civilization. A civilization that mastered genetic engineering, transcended physical limitations, and achieved a level of technological prowess that dwarfs anything known in New Eden.
Wow, it's like stumbling upon the Library of Alexandria in space.
Exactly. But with the added danger of being hunted by a ruthless capsuleer and his corporation, remember, Dark Bliss is still on their trail, and he is not going to rest until he gets his hands on that Jovian tech.
Right. So they're racing against time, trying to unlock the secrets of the archive before Dark Bliss catches up to them.
Exactly. And the tension builds as they get closer to their goal. They manage to access the station, but the moment they step inside, alarms blare. It's a trap.
Oh no, Dark Bliss was waiting for them.
He anticipated their move and was waiting for them with the Thunderdogs. They swarm the station, cutting off any escape routes.
So they're trapped.
It seems that way. Outnumbered, outgunned, surrounded by enemies, what do you think they do?
Surrender.
Vaylin's not the type to give up easily. He's got a plan.
Of course he does. What is it?
He activates the station's defenses, turning the Jovian technology against his attackers. Imagine security drones, automated turrets, and energy fields, all controlled by a sophisticated AI designed to repel intruders.
Now, that's using your enemy's strength against them.
What? The station becomes a battleground with Vaylin and Eliana fighting alongside these ancient defenses to hold back the Thunderdogs.
So they're not just fighting for survival, they're fighting for knowledge, too.
Right.
To understand the secrets of the Jovians.
Exactly. And as they fight, they delve deeper into the archive, uncovering its secrets. What they find is truly astounding. It's not just weapons technology or blueprints for advanced ships. It's knowledge, a deep understanding of the universe of consciousness, of existence itself.
Okay, now we're getting into some heady stuff. This is bigger than just a fight for survival. This is about unlocking the secrets of a lost civilization, perhaps even the secrets of the universe itself.
Exactly, and it makes you wonder, what were the Jovians trying to achieve? Why did they isolate themselves? What did they know that we don't?
But let's not forget about the Thunderdogs. They're still a threat, right?
They are. And despite their ferocity and determination, they're no match for the station's defenses. They suffer heavy losses and their attack stalls. But Dark Bliss, ever persistent, refuses to give up. He orders his elite pilots, led by Winky Kinky, to press the attack to break through at any cost.
It's getting pretty intense. I imagine Valen and Eliana are starting to feel the pressure.
The situation is becoming critical. They're running out of time and options.
So what happens? Do they make it out alive?
Just when all hope seems lost, the relic activates. Remember, this relic seems to have a connection to the Jovians, to their technology, to this entire region of space, and as it activates, something incredible happens. New wormholes open, shimmering gateways that lead even deeper into Jovian inner space.
Wait, so the relic saves them again?
It seems that way. It's as if the relic itself is responding to their plight, offering them a way out. They escape through these new wormholes, leaving the Thunderdogs stranded in the collapsing station.
Wow, talk about a close call. But they're not out of the woods yet, are they? They're even deeper into Jovian inner space now, further from familiar territory, and still pursued by a relentless enemy.
Their journey is far from over, but they've proven their resilience. They've survived encounters with sleepers, pirates, the Thunderdogs, and even the Jovians themselves, and they've gained knowledge and technology that could change the balance of power in New Eden.
So what happens next? What new challenges await them in the depths of Jovian inner space?
We'll have to wait for part 3 to find out.
So last time, Valen and Eliana escaped through a wormhole, right? Deeper into Jovian inner space. It's a pretty risky move, considering they're still being hunted by Dark Bliss and his Thunderdogs.
Oh, absolutely. It's like jumping from the frying pan into the fire. But remember, they're not just running, they're being guided by the relic. And it's led them to some pretty incredible discoveries so far.
That's true. And speaking of discoveries, what do they find in this even deeper part of Jovian inner space?
Well, the book describes it as this breathtaking symphony of light and energy, crystalline structures that pulse with light, nebulae swirling with colors, these strange gravity-defying anomalies that tug at their ship. It's almost like they've entered another dimension.
It sounds beautiful, but also kind of terrifying, you know? Being in a place where the laws of physics don't quite apply. I bet Valen's loving it, though.
Yeah.
Always pushing the limits, testing the boundaries.
He's definitely in his element here. But even he must be feeling the pressure. Right, they're still being hunted by a ruthless enemy. And now they're in this incredibly strange and potentially hostile environment. It's got to be messing with his head.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the paranoia he must be feeling. But hey, at least he's got Eliana with him now.
Right.
They've become a pretty good team. They have. Their bond has been forged in danger, and it's evolved into something deeper. A true partnership based on mutual respect and trust.
So where does the relic lead them next? To a structure of incredible scale and complexity. A Jovian shipyard dormant for centuries, but still pulsating with this latent energy that hints at its former power. And within its depths, they discover something truly remarkable. An intact Eidolon battleship.
An Eidolon? Wow,
Yeah.
Those are like the holy grail of EveOnline.
Yeah.
Ships of unimaginable power, capable of warping space-time, wielding weapons that can shatter planets.
Exactly. And Valen stumbled upon one intact and seemingly ready to be claimed. But, as you might expect, such a discovery comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah, I was going to say, it can't be that easy, right?
Definitely not. Their presence triggers the shipyard's defenses, and they find themselves face to face with the Drifters.
Oh no, not the Drifters.
Yeah, the Drifters. They're enigmatic and immensely powerful entities, shrouded in mystery, even more so than the Jovians. Some believe they're the descendants of the Jovians, others think there's something else entirely, but one thing's for sure, they're a force to be reckoned with.
So what happens? Do they fight?
They have no choice. The Drifters attack, and Valen and Eliana are forced to defend themselves. It's a desperate battle, a dance on the edge of annihilation. They utilize every ounce of their skill and cunning, pushing their ship to its limits to survive.
It sounds intense. Do they manage to defeat the Drifters?
They're not able to defeat them, but they do manage to escape with a valuable prize.
What do they get?
A fragment of Drifter technology, a piece of the puzzle that could be even more valuable than the Eidolon itself. It might hold the key to understanding the Drifters, their connection to the Jovians, and perhaps even their motives.
So they escape with this incredible piece of technology, But they're still deep in Jovian inner space.
Right.
And Dark Bliss is still out there somewhere.
He is, and they know he won't give up until he gets his hands on the Jovian tech. So they have a choice to make. Do they stay in Jovian inner space and risk running into Dark Bliss again? Or do they use their remaining filaments to return to known space?
It's a tough choice. The unknown versus the known.
Yeah.
But both options are dangerous.
Exactly, and it's a decision that will have major consequences for Valen and Eliana.
So what do they choose?
They decide to use a filament, hoping to buy themselves some time and distance from Dark Bliss, but fate, it seems, has other plans. The filament malfunctions, and instead of taking them to a safe location, it spits them out right back in Fountain closer to Dark Bliss's home system than ever before.
Oh no, talk about bad luck.
It's a devastating setback. They're trapped out of options with a formidable enemy closing in.
So what do?
Valen comes up with a plan, a desperate gamble, but it's their only hope.
What's the plan?
He knows that Dark Bliss is obsessed with the Jovian technology, that he'll stop at nothing to obtain it, so he decides to use that obsession against him.
Okay, how does he do that?
He sends Eliana in a small, inconspicuous ship on a series of carefully planned jumps, creating a false trail, a digital breadcrumb that leads Dark Bliss and his Thunderdogs on a wild goose chase across Fountain.
So it's a diversion.
Exactly. While Eliana's leading Dark Bliss away, Valen cloaks his ship using technology salvaged from the Jovian battleship. He waits patiently for Dark Bliss to take the bait, to commit his forces to chasing Eliana.
So it's all about timing.
It's a risky plan, but if it works, it'll give them a chance to escape.
And does it work?
Dark Bliss takes the bait. He falls for the diversion, hook, line, and sinker. He sends his entire fleet after Eliana, while Valen waits in the shadows.
So what happens next?
When Dark Bliss's fleet is fully committed to chasing, Eliana Valen makes his move. He uncloaks, appearing seemingly out of nowhere right in the heart of Dark Bliss's home system.
Wow, he's going right into the lion's den.
He launches a surprise attack, targeting their infrastructure, disrupting their operations, sowing chaos in their ranks. He's not trying to defeat them, he's trying to distract them, to create enough confusion to allow Eliana to escape.
It's a brilliant tactic, turning the tables on his pursuer, striking at the heart of their power. But is it enough?
It is. His attack is a success. Dark Bliss, enraged and humiliated, is forced to recall his forces to defend their home territory. Eliana, seizing the opportunity created by Valen's diversion, slips through their grasp and escapes into Nullsec.
She got away.
She did. And Valen cloaks once more, vanishing into the vastness of space, leaving Dark Bliss with nothing but a burning sense of vengeance and a trail of shattered pride.
That's incredible. They actually pulled it off. But it's a bittersweet victory, right? They've lost the Jovian relic, their ship is damaged, and they're once again on the run.
It's true. They've paid a heavy price for their freedom, but they've survived. They've proven their resilience and their ingenuity, and they've shown us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit, the will to survive, can prevail.
So that's the story of Valen Cord, the lone capsuleer. A tale of daring escapes incredible discoveries and the relentless pursuit of knowledge in the face of overwhelming odds.
It's a story that reminds us that even in a universe as vast and complex as EveOnline, there's still room for individual brilliance, for cunning and courage, and for the triumph of the human spirit.
And that's it for our deep dive into the lone capsuleer. Thanks for listening.
All right, strap in everyone, because today's deep dive is going to be a wild ride. We're heading straight into the heart of the Lone Capsuleer, specifically Chapter 10, No Safe Harbor. Now, imagine this. Okay. You're being hunted through this crazy, beautiful, but super dangerous part of space. It's intense, it's thrilling, and that's exactly where we're going today.
It's amazing how this chapter just throws Valen and Eliana right into the fire. And they're not up against just anybody, it's the Thunderdogs, an elite fleet led by, well, to just say, Winky Kinky is not someone you want to mess with.
Right. I mean, last time we saw them, they're in some pretty tight spots. But for anyone who might have, missed a chapter or two,
No.
who are Valen, Eliana again, and what's this relic that everyone's after?
Right, Valen, he's our lone capsuleer. I think like top-tier pilot, kind of mysterious past, the type.
Huh?
And Eliana, she's an archaeologist. She's obsessed with uncovering these ancient civilizations, specifically the Jovians and the relic. Well, it's thought to be this piece of crazy advanced Jovian tech, like something that could change everything.
And then we have this Dark Bliss lurking around, right? Where does he fit in?
Dark Bliss. He's our, I guess you could say, villain. Super ambitious, shrouded in mystery. We don't really know his end game yet. But one thing's for sure, he wants that Jovian relic. and he'll do anything to get it.
Okay, so we've got Valen, amazing pilot, Eliana, expert in ancient stuff. They're running from the Thunderdogs, which are basically space pirates, but like on a whole other level. And they're doing this in Jovian inner space. So what's that like? Is it just an empty void?
It is not empty. You've got these crystalline asteroids just drifting through these bright, colorful nebulae. Imagine derelict ships from who knows how long ago just spinning silently. And then there's these anomalies, like weird energy things that don't even seem to follow the laws of physics. It's stunning, but yeah, super dangerous too.
Sounds like the perfect setting for a cosmic chase. So how do they even stay ahead of the Thunderdogs and all that?
Well, Valen's an incredible pilot. Plus, the relic seems to be guiding him somehow. They're weaving through unstable gravity fields, dodging sensor probes. It's pretty intense. And Eliana, she's working on figuring out the relic, trying to unlock its secrets so they can, turn the tables.
But it's not just running and hiding, is it? They stumble across something pretty incredible, right?
Oh, yeah. They find this Jovian station. Sleek, ancient, like a monument frozen in time.
Huh.
It's not just a station, though. It's more like this massive library, packed with knowledge from this lost civilization.
This is what I love about this chapter. It's not just that they find it, it's how it reacts to the relic. Like it recognizes it or something.
Yeah, that's one of the most fascinating things. It's like this slumbering being, it's got this automated voice that talks to them. You get this feeling like it's been waiting for centuries for the relic to come back. Is it just advanced tech, or is it something more almost like sentient?
So they find refuge in this incredible station, but they're not safe yet, are they?
Nope. Dark Bliss, he's relentless. He finds them. He's taunting them over the comms, letting them know the Thunderdogs are closing in. He tracked the wormhole signature. They're trapped.
But Valen's not one to just give up, right?
No way. He activates the station's defenses, drones, turrets, shields, anything to buy them some time. He knows it's a losing battle, though. The Thunderdogs, they don't mess around.
So what does he do? Is it over?
Valen, he thinks fast. He uses the station to open new wormholes, basically creating escape routes further into Jovian space. He's not just running, he's choosing to fight on his own terms, even if it means going deeper into the unknown.
So the station becomes a battleground.
Oh yeah, it's a last stand. Drones and turrets blasting away at the Thunderdogs, Valen and Eliana racing to escape. It's crazy intense. You can really feel the urgency, like everything's on the line.
And what about the station itself? What happens to this ancient wonder?
It collapses. In this final act of sacrifice, it creates a diversion so Valen and Eliana can escape. This ancient structure, it's gone. It's a powerful moment. It's like you can feel the weight of history being lost.
So they escape, but the relic's still leading them somewhere, and Dark Bliss is still hot on their trail. What a cliffhanger.
It is. Their escape, it's just the beginning. Who knows what's waiting for them deeper in Jovian space? What secrets does the relic hold? Why is it so important to Valen? To Dark Bliss? So many questions.
And that's where we'll pick up after a quick break. We'll be back to dig into the implications of all this, and we'll be diving into some fan theories too. The internet is buzzing with them, so stay tuned.
Seeing Valen and Eliana escape through that collapsing station, it really makes you wonder, what is it about this relic? What makes it so valuable? What could it even do?
Yeah, the chapter gives us some clues, like how it interacts with Jovian tech. It's not just powering stuff. It's like it unlocks it, controls it.
Like a bridge between what we understand and what they knew, Their tech is so advanced, it might as well be magic to us. And remember how the station reacted when they got there?
Yeah, like it was almost alive.
Right. More than just programming.
It's like, was it sentient or what?
It's what I love about this story. Hard sci-fi meets ancient mysteries. It makes you think, what happened to them? To a civilization that advanced. And this relic, a piece of their tech, could it be a blessing or a curse?
Good point. It's powerful, maybe dangerous. It might hold the key to all these secrets. No wonder everyone wants it. But this chase, it's not just about a cool gadget. It tells us about the characters, right?
Exactly. It forces them to make tough decisions. Valen, he could have kept running, but he chose to fight. What does that tell you?
He's a survivor, resourceful, determined, willing to take risks. He's not your typical hero, always playing by the rules, but he's got a good heart, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Eliana, she's not just a passenger. Her knowledge is key. She helps Valen see the big picture.
Right, she's the brains. But she's brave, too. She didn't run away when things got bad.
That takes guts. And then there's Dark Bliss. His obsession with the relic is not just greed or power. There's something personal there. A rivalry with Valen, maybe.
He's got something to prove, not just to Valen, but to himself, too. It makes him a more interesting villain, but also more dangerous. What's driving him, do you think?
That's the question that keeps me coming back to this story. Is it power, control, or is there something we haven't figured out yet? Some hidden agenda.
And the Thunderdogs. They're not just goons, they're organized, efficient.
Their discipline is scary, and their ruthlessness. But their leader, Winky Kinky, there's something about him. Makes you wonder if he has his own motives.
Right, like he's playing his own game. So we have complex characters, a mysterious relic, maybe the key to an entire civilization's tech, and this chase across a beautiful, dangerous part of space. But what's the point? What's the bigger picture?
That's where it goes beyond just a space adventure. It's exciting, it's about survival, but it's also about knowledge. Ambition versus morality, ancient secrets.
It makes you think about technology, how it shapes us. The Jovians, they were so advanced.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
Well, what can we learn from that?
How do we avoid making the same mistakes?
It connects to our fears today. AI, climate change, pushing science too far. Even though it's a fictional world, it reflects real concerns about humanity's future.
It's a reminder that even in a story, choices matter.
Absolutely.
Speaking of choices, that ending, jumping into the unknown, dark bliss, still after them.
Quite a cliffhanger.
What do you think's out there in Jovian inner space?
It's exciting and terrifying. Will they find answers? About the Jovians, will they unlock the relic's full potential? Can they escape dark bliss?
We'll have to wait and see. But for now, let's appreciate how good this story is. It's not just action, it makes you think, challenges you.
It leaves you wanting more.
And speaking of wanting more, we have some fan theories to get into. The internet is going crazy with speculation. So let's dive into some of the most interesting ones. All right, let's dive into some of these fan theories. Some are pretty wild, I gotta say. But some, they really make you think about what might be coming next.
Yeah, the forums are blowing up. Especially after an ending like that, everyone's got a theory about the relic, the Jovians. About Valen, what he's gonna do next.
One that's getting a lot of attention. The relic isn't just a key, it's a map. Like a guide to a hidden Jovian world.
Interesting. Makes sense, right? The Jovians and their wormhole tech. Maybe it leads to a safe haven, a place they escape to. When whatever happened, happened. It would explain why Dark Bliss is so obsessed with it.
Right, exactly. Then there's the one about Dark Bliss himself. Some think he's not after power or revenge. They think he wants to bring the Jovians back.
Whoa.
Or even control them.
That's a scary thought. Dark Bliss with that kind of power.
It kind of ties into those anxieties we talked about, right? About tech being misused. Becoming a weapon instead of a tool.
Yeah. Powerful tech in the wrong hands.
And we can't forget about Winky Kinky. Some people are convinced he's not as loyal as he seems. Like he's got his own plan. His own reasons for wanting the relic.
He's a real wild card, isn't he?
Yeah.
We see how ruthless he is, how ambitious, but there are these hints, like there's more going on beneath the surface.
Yeah. Is he playing a deeper game?
It's a mystery waiting to be solved.
That's what makes The Lone Capsuleer so good. It's this mix of action, mystery, and these big questions about tech and civilization.
It keeps you guessing, keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And wanting more.
Definitely wanting more.
It's not just a space opera, it's deeper than that.
It makes you think about choices, consequences.
It's a potential for good and bad.
Inside all of us.
So we're at the end of our deep dive, and we've got more questions than answers. But that's the beauty of it, right?
It is. It makes you think.
What would you do? If you were Valen, would you try to unlock the relic's secrets? Find that lost Jovian world? Or would you destroy it to keep it out of the wrong hands?
Chapter 10 threw us for a loop. Action, mystery, tough choices.
For sure.
It reminds us that even in space, our choices matter.
They shape our destiny.
The search for knowledge
Can lead to amazing things.
but it can also be dangerous.
So until the next chapter, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep into the stories that matter.
We'll see you next time.
All right, strap in everyone for this deep dive. We're going full-on sci-fi this time. You sent in excerpts from The Lone Capsuleer, and wow, it is jam-packed. Lost colonies, ancient secrets of Earth, you name it.
It's crazy how these stories, even though they're made up, get us thinking, about our place in the universe and all the what-ifs of history.
For sure. And the excerpts you sent in, they focus on these space explorers, Valen and Eliana. They find these ancient Jovian star charts. We're talking thousands of years old.
Imagine that though, right? Star charts that old. I mean, it means they were out there among the stars when we were barely figuring out farming. I mean, what happened to them?
Well, like, did they transcend or evolve or something? Or was there some kind of huge disaster? And it just gets weirder because these charts lead them to this abandoned Jovian space station hidden inside a nebula.
Like a ghost ship in space, just frozen in time. And inside, they find this holographic message. It's from a Jovian, and it talks about these gate builders, and it has this warning about something called the Rift.
Okay, so the Rift is the key to figuring out what happened to Earth. But it also sounds super dangerous, like maybe it was a rip in space-time caused by technology going too far.
The message calls it a wound caused by hubris, so yeah, definitely sounds like some kind of human mess-up with huge consequences.
Okay, get this picture. Valen and Eliana are taking all this in. And suddenly, their rivals, the Thunderdogs, show up. It's a near miss, and I am already hooked.
It definitely adds that danger, that urgency. Like they're in a race against time and these powerful forces to find the truth.
Totally. And get this, the Jovian message. It tells them to go to Procyon Prime. But that's deep in Red Noga Syndicate territory. Talk about out of the frying pan into the fire.
Procyon Prime, that's going to be the next piece of the puzzle then. But here's where it gets even more intense. They get another message and it says the path is cursed.
Cursed. Okay, now I'm really in. What do you think? Like a real curse? Or more of a metaphor for the dangers of messing with things we don't understand?
It's interesting, right? The story leaves it open. It could be supernatural. Or maybe the consequences of their actions become the curse.
Ooh, I like that. Like they set off something they can't control.
Exactly. Or what if they find out something that shatters everything they thought they knew? Or forces them to face their own inner demons? It's classic storytelling, you know. Makes the characters and us, the audience, face the unknown.
And speaking of the unknown, let's unpack this rift a little more. What are we thinking here? Wormhole, dimensional tear, something even weirder.
$1,000,000 question. And it makes you think beyond our current understanding of, well, everything.
Right, like what if it's a rip in reality from someone messing with time travel? Or a door to a parallel universe?
All possible.